Recently, I took the opportunity to rewatch 2015's The Big Short. Now, if you're unfamiliar, this is a movie by Adam McKay, who's kind of gone on to make a name for himself as someone who takes complex issues and satirizes them to make them palatable, right? Don't Look Up is another one of his movies. But this one is about the 2008 housing market crash, and it kind of breaks down how we got there, and so forth, right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, is it a documentary and stuff like that? No, it's not. It's very much a narrative film, but it very much kind of has a tongue-in-cheek sort of feel to it, where characters look to camera. For example, Ryan Gosling in particular, he breaks the fourth wall all the time to explain what's happening, right? So you'll see various scenes happen, then it's like, okay, let's really break down what's happening and stuff like that. And there's fun interstitial cameos. For example, Margot Robbie is in a bathtub explaining all kinds of terminology that you would need in terms of investments and stuff like that. And they very much, again, play it for laughs, where it's like, hey, here to explain this is Margot Robbie in a bubble bath, right? So it's very well done in that sense and whatnot. So it's highly, highly entertaining, but also it does a truly wonderful job, just like that Mary Poppins song, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. In order for us to understand what actually happened, I think this does a tremendous job of that. And the interesting part for me was, now watching it 10 years later, you have a different perspective of life, of that time, and then also kind of you're thinking about it, okay, are there similarities to today, right? So, for example, a lot of people are saying that we're in an AI bubble, and I'm not really an expert and things of that nature, but it is interesting to kind of graft some of those similarities onto today's time and whatnot, and at the very least contemplate these questions, and even the idea of bailouts, right? Who keeps getting bailed out, and certainly corporations and things of that nature, but not really people and stuff like that. So, and there's a final message at the end in terms of what it says, not in a didactic way, but just kind of clear-headed. What's the takeaway of all of this? And it's a line by Steve Carell, and in today's day and age, it is so poignant and stuff like that. So if you've never seen the movie, I would encourage you to watch it. If you have seen the movie, I would encourage you to watch it again, because as for me, seeing it through the lens of today, I think it's a fascinating look back at that time, and to do a compare and contrast as I'm trying to do for myself. And yeah, it's a truly wonderful cast, really great filmmaking, right? So I mentioned Ryan Gosling, I mentioned Steve Carell. There's, of course, Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, so among others, right? Just tons of great, even just cameos. As I said, Margot Robbie, but there's others who you'll find really, really fun. So, can't recommend the movie enough, and it gives you a lot to think about for sure. And if you would indulge me, if you have seen it, comment down below, and I'm curious to, what's your recollection of the movie, and if you've seen it more recently, how is it making you think about, our time today? I'd be curious to know. Thank you as always for taking the time to tune in. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.